What if I tell you that the next global crisis is already here, but most people still cannot see it? Not war, not even outbreak, not artificial intelligence, but heat. Heat. An invisible force silently moving across continents, drying rivers, damaging crops, pushing temperatures high, and raising a question the world may soon be forced to answer. Now tell me, what happens when the planet becomes too hot to feed itself? Around the world, extreme heat events are becoming more frequent. Farmers are watching fields dry. Water supplies are under pressure. Scientists continue tracking rising temperatures, while governments prepare for a future many fear may look very different from today. And now, people are asking, could heat become the next global crisis? Stay with me, because this story may affect every country, every economy, and every table where food is served. I'll be right back.
The earth, the rivers, vanish. What is a drought? A drought means way less rainfall for weeks, months, even years. The land dries, water vanishes. How it forms. Climate change, deforestation, and patterns like El Niño reduce rainfall. Heat speeds up evaporation. Land turns to dust. The impacts: crops fail, livestock die, families flee, wildfires explode in bone-dry landscapes. Vietnam's disaster. In 2020, the Mekong Delta faced its worst drought in a century. Saltwater crept 82 kilometers inland. Millions lost crops and clean water. The danger? Drought creeps in, silent, until it's too late. When the earth runs dry, we all suffer. Want more forces?
Intense wildfires, dried up rivers, slashed crop yields. Europe experienced its second warmest year on record in 2022, as climate change unleashed record-breaking weather extremes that led to thousands of deaths. That's according to European Union scientists at Copernicus Climate Change Service, C3S, whose records date back to 1950.
It was especially summer that was the warmest on record by quite a large margin.
Senior climate scientist Freya Vanborg says summer 2022 was Europe's hottest on record.
There were a number of heat waves where, for instance, the temperature of 40 degrees was reached for the first time ever in the United Kingdom. So that's a country-level record. We also saw a large region of southern and central Europe, which was affected by drought throughout, or especially at the end of summer.
Initial analysis ranked 2022's widespread drought as Europe's worst in 500 years. The hot, dry spell fueled intense wildfires in countries from Spain to Slovenia. And severe heat waves caused more than 20,000 so-called excess deaths in countries including France, Germany, Spain, and Britain. But it's not just Europe. C3S says 2022 was also the entire world's fifth warmest year since at least 1850.
So our Copernicus data shows that globally it was the fifth warmest year on record, but what's really to note here, I think, is that the last 8 years were all the warmest on record. And they were all also more than 1 degree above what we call the pre-industrial level for temperatures.
The planet is now 1.2 degrees Celsius warmer than in pre-industrial times, as a result of human-caused climate change, C3S says. Global temperatures will only stop rising if countries reduce their emissions to net zero. The 27-country EU, Britain, Canada, Japan, and others have pledged to reach that goal by 2050. China and India aim to achieve it later. But despite those long-term pledges, global emissions continue to rise.
We will carry on having warmer and warmer global temperatures, and we will slowly but surely walk towards these targets. And in order to be able to achieve the goals, so to limit the temperature to any of these targets, we need to make sure that greenhouse gas concentration in the atmosphere stagnate, and this can only be achieved by reducing greenhouse gas emissions from human activities.
The warning signs have been building for years. Heat waves, once called ray, are appearing more often. Countries across different regions have experienced record temperatures, drought periods, and unusual weather events. Now, in some places, rivers drought. In others, farms struggle. Now, across parts of Africa, drought pressure affected agriculture. Europe faced repeated heat episodes, while parts of Asia saw dangerous temperature affecting daily life. People who once spoke about climate change as a future issue are now asking if the future has already arrived. Because this is no longer only about weather. It is becoming a conversation about survival, about economy and food. And that brings us to the next warning. Now, food depends on balance, water, temperature, season timing, healthy soil. But, extreme heat can disrupt that balance. When temperature rises beyond normal conditions, crops experience stress. Water evaporates faster. Soil dries faster. Farming becomes harder. Now, experts continue studying how climate conditions may affect future food systems. And people online are already discussing fear about future shortages, food prices, and agricultural stability. Imagine this. A heat wave hits one farming region, production drops, supply chains react, prices move. Another country dependent on imports feels the impact. Suddenly, the local weather event becomes an international issue because food today is global. Yes, what disruption can travel across borders? This is why food security is now becoming part of global discussions. Yes, online discussions are still growing. Some people fear future shortages. Others believe technology will solve everything. Some say humanity will adapt. Others warn adaptation may not happen not fast enough. Now, climate researchers continue tracking warning patterns. Agricultural experts discuss resilience. Governments explore drought-resistant crops, irrigation projects, and food planning systems. Now, technology is entering the battle too. AI farming systems, climate monitoring satellites, smart irrigation, future agriculture laboratories. Now, one question remains. Can innovation move faster than climate pressure? Because time may become the biggest challenge. Now, let's take notes. Heat is not only about temperature, it can influence economies, energy demand, water access, migration patterns, food movements, public health. And when food pressure rises, prices may rise. When water becomes limited, competition increases. When farmland changes, people move. Now, history shows environmental stress can reshape societies, and many analysts believe future global stability may depend heavily on climate adaptation. The next major world challenge may not arrive suddenly, it may arrive slowly, degree by degree, season by season, harvest by harvest. Now, you can imagine the world 10 years from now. Cities adapting to extreme heat, vertical farms inside buildings, AI managing crops, nations competing for water technology, climate migration increasing, new food systems emerging. This may sound like science fiction, but some of these changes are already beginning. They are beginning. The future food battle may not happen on battlefield. No. It may happen in farms, water systems, research centers, and climate laboratories. The world is preparing. The world is preparing fast. Now the question is, are we? Are we ready? Are you ready? Are you getting prepared too?
Arizona, listen up. There's a new warning in town, and it's coming with extreme heat. What used to be called an excessive heat warning is now officially an extreme heat warning. Why the change? To make it sound as serious as it actually is. And this weekend, we're talking 110, 112, maybe 113 degrees in parts of the valley. That's near record heat. So stay cool, stay smart, and check on your people. Extreme heat can be deadly, but it doesn't have to be. And heads up, from Saturday through Monday, Phoenix is closing popular hiking trails from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That includes Camelback, Payastoa Peak, and South Mountain. Remember that the city will close them when an extreme heat warning is issued.
Heat does not make headlines every day. It moves quietly. It moves silently until rivers shrink, until farms struggle, until food changes. The story is not about fear. No, I am not creating fear. It's all about awareness. Because the next global crisis may not arrive with explosions. It may arrive with sunlight. And if heat reshapes food, it may reshape the future itself. Automatically, it will. But what do you think? Could climate and heat become the biggest global challenge of our generation? Or will technology save the future? Tell me in the comments. Let's talk. I want to hear your thoughts. See you in my next video. Much love. A special thank you to everyone who subscribed. This channel is still small, but we are growing together. If you believe these stories matter, subscribe and be part of this journey. See you in my next video.